Hi, I want to welcome you to a special show today about the Girl Scouts of Central Maryland. I'm Susan Buda, Vice President for External Affairs for Verizon Maryland. Verizon Maryland is proud to sponsor this Distinguished Women's Awards for the Girl Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of Central Maryland. It's such an important event because it recognizes the contribution of 5 very special women in the community who have and live with the same values that the Girl Scouts have as part of their very existence. So Verizon is a perfect fit for the Girl Scouts. We've both been around 100 years or more, and we're both very dedicated to serving the communities where we work and live.
In the true tradition of Girl Scouting, please stand and recite the Girl Scout promise with me. On my honor, I will strive to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Thank you. Please be seated. Welcome everyone to the Girl Scouts of Central Maryland's Distinguished Women's Award reception. My name is Ariel Lawson, and I'm a senior at Western School of Technology and Environmental Science and an Ambassador Girl Scout from Troop 770. It is my honor to serve as tonight's MC for this distinguished event. We hope that you will enjoy this special program this evening. Now, please join me in welcoming Girl Scouts of Central Maryland's Chief Executive Officer, Tracy Barnett.
Thank you, Ariel. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm so glad to see all of you here. Every year, this event just seems to get better and better. I see a lot of familiar faces and good friends of Girl Scouts, but I also see a lot of new faces here this evening, and so we are so pleased that you can join us and see what all we talk about is about with our Distinguished Women's event. When I leave this event every year, I go home and I'm so inspired, and I talk to other women and men too who attend the event, and they tell me the same thing, that they always leave this event feeling really upbeat and inspired. And the big reason for that is because of the wonderful women that we honor and the girls, our girls who shadow them, who are always so spectacular. And I go home, I can't sleep, so I'm usually up till 3 or 4 in the morning. So if you have that same problem tonight, call me and we can talk about the event and how much fun it was, because I have a feeling that I'm going to be awake most of the night. But it's a good thing. Over the last 28 years, and yes, it has been 28 years that we've been doing this event, we've honored a total of 79 women. And tonight we will add 5 more fabulous women to the honor. And they are Laura Black, Carter Ortez Carson, Sharon Pinder, Paula Singer, competition. We're Girl Scouts, we understand that it's always a competition. And of course, last but not least, the lovely Jenny Thompson. And they're all fabulous, and you will hear from them, and you will also hear from their shadow girls here in a few minutes. But first, as you might imagine, and as many of you are painfully aware of,
Good evening. My name is Donna Reel, and I'm very proud to be the chair of Girl Scouts of Central Maryland and the chair of the board of directors of the Girl Scouts. I am also very honored to be here to celebrate the accomplishments of the distinguished women who are just fabulous and wonderful, and the girls who have shadowed them, who I've talked to each one of them this afternoon, and they have had an incredible, incredible time, and will take that with them throughout their years. You will hear much more of that later in the program, but I wanted to take a second to thank Sheila Murphy, who is the chair. Sheila, stand up. She's the chair of our Distinguished Women's Event this year. Her leadership, her enthusiasm, and anybody that knows Sheila knows she puts 500% in everything that she does. Her persuasion, her dedication has ensured that tonight's celebration is truly memorable for our honorees, for our Girl Scout Shadow Girls, and for each of you, and for each of us who are a part of Girl Scouts. And to our honorees, we are especially thankful for you for hosting a girl at your workplace. And not any girl, but a Girl Scout. This shadowing experience, as we refer to it, gives our girls the insight into careers and the personal lives of outstanding women, and an inspiration at a time when they are contemplating their own futures. And to each of you, Girl Scouting continues to thrive in our community because of dedicated supporters like every single person who is here tonight. Whether you share your time, your treasures, your talents, our programs could not happen without every single person that's here, and without your generous support. The community, whether it's an individual, a foundation, one of our professional women who are here tonight, major corporations, we are very fortunate to have all of them as our partners. And to that end, we are very fortunate to have Verizon as our signature sponsor this year. Supports our outreach program to over 9,000 at-risk girls in our community, and who without your support would never be Girl Scouts or have the experience of Girl Scouting, and our leadership development program. Many of you would be very surprised to know how thrifty Girl Scouts can be. We are the true thrifty. This event is such a bargain. 90% of our proceeds goes right back into our programs, and that is amazing. I don't know of any other event that can really say that over 90% of whatever is generated from a fundraiser plows right back into the girls that we serve, or the community they serve. So with that, I want to introduce Susan Buda Cavendish from Verizon.
Girl Scout founder Juliet Lowe wrote a letter to the Girl Scouts of America on her birthday in 1924. She said, "Remember the rules of this Girl Scouting game of ours. They are to play fair, to play in your place, to play for your side and not for yourself. And as for the score, the best thing in a game is the fun and not the result." We're here this evening to celebrate 5 very special women whose lives reflect the values, and thankfully, these 5 women are willing to share those values with the next generation. On behalf of Verizon, let me say how honored we are to serve as your signature sponsor for tonight's event. Verizon and the Girl Scouts Both share a proud history based on a strong commitment to the communities where we work and live. I'm always proud to say that I work for a company that has been active in the community for over 100 years. And as we speak, the Girl Scouts and its British forerunner, the Girl Guides, are gearing up for their own centennial celebrations. For nearly 100 years, approximately 250 million Girl Scouts have been changing lives and building a better world. According to the Girl Scouts World Board Chairman, Margaret Treloar, it all started in Britain in 1909, when several girls demanded a place for themselves at the Crystal Palace Boy Scouts rally. Go girls. These girls were the first to speak out and challenge the norms and gender conventions of the time. Since then, Girl Scouts have continued to change the lives of those around them through community action, peer education, and service to others. The Girl Scouts of America have helped to improve the lives of millions of people. We are so lucky to live in a country where the situation for girls and young women has improved enormously since 1909. And in areas where there's still work to be done, especially to ensure all girls enjoy a world free from social injustices like domestic violence or a lack of education. Companies like Verizon and the other sponsors around us tonight are here to help. By funding programs like Reading Rocks, a literacy program for Daisy and Brownie Girl Scouts, Verizon is happy to introduce reading to a whole new generation, to make it an exciting experience and to encourage lifelong learning. So let's get this celebration going. And in the spirit of Girl Scout founder Mrs. Lowe, who knew about the best gifts in life, let's have some fun.
Well, thank you, Ms. Buda. Now is the moment we have all been waiting for. Please join me in listening to our Girl Scout Shadow Girls as they tell you about the amazing day they spent on the job with their honoree. For the Girl Scouts, this is an experience they will never forget, and we hope you won't either. Please join me in welcoming Molly Malarkey, Girl Scout who shadowed Mrs. Laura Black. Good evening. My name is Molly Malarkey. Laura Black once told me that we're all the same, more so than we are different. This statement is true, right? Humans are all the same, more so than we are different. So statistically, why are less than 3% of females holding the highest positions in the workplace? Ms. Black and I discussed this matter and agreed that childcare and other general family responsibilities, as well as lack of mentors and role models, are some of the major things that hold us back from this title. Only about 24 of the top Fortune 1000 companies have women as their CEOs. I stand here with former CEO next to me, and I might add that it was her own company that she started, and I feel so honored because guess what? She's a woman. Ms. Black even said, and I quote, "When I was working full-time, I used to really wish for a wife. I thought it would make my life so much easier." Ms. Black, with her partner, started her own company now called Special Counsel that supplied temporary legal staff. It helps law firms with their staffing needs and grew into one of the largest temporary legal staffing companies in the country. After she sold her company, she started doing nonprofit work because she wanted to give back to the community. She said her biggest interest was to motivate women and empower them to get wherever they wanted to go. She wanted them to reach whatever goals they had, big or small. "I don't like anything stopping us," Ms. Black commented. This is where the fun started. I was lucky enough to tour the hospital where Ms. Black is on the board of directors. The board decides on many matters like positive expansion and always giving its patients the highest level of care. This was certainly apparent when I got a first-hand look at the pediatric wing, the
premature babies, which is referred to as NICU, the emergency room, and other departments. Sinai Hospital of Baltimore was an impressive institution. I think that my most memorable moment from my visit was how many times Ms. Black made me use the hand sanitizer to clean my hands. It was 4 times, by the way. After my tour of the hospital, I was taken to an actual board meeting at the Associated. That was exciting. I've never seen a schedule actually printed out and put in front of me. They actually do that? I thought it was really classy. The Associated Jewish Community Federation of Baltimore is a nonprofit organization that strives to ensure that the needs of the Jewish community, both right here in Baltimore as well as globally, are met. Laura is a volunteer. She said that you meet the nicest people volunteering. It's true, because volunteers take time away from their busy work schedule to donate chunks of their time towards something that is going to help others. Sadly, the day flew by, and it was almost time to head back to Barnes & Noble to meet my mom. As we walked past the rows of books, I told Miss Black that it wouldn't be long until her book would be sitting patiently on a shelf. The book that Laura is currently working on is called Big Butts, Fat Thighs, and Other Secrets to Success. Its theme is to teach women to achieve their goals. We agreed that if you are yourself, and that if you are confident, people will admire you, whether you look like a model or not. There's something about being who you are and being proud of it that just makes you shine. All of the things that are imperfect about you are what make you beautiful. I know that I don't choose my friends based on what logo is on the front of their t-shirts. My friends appreciate me because I'm crazy and we laugh together, whether I'm wearing Abercrombie or Target. Ms. Black stressed the importance of prioritizing and how you should always do everything to the best of your ability. Prioritizing and networking. Everyone you meet on the way up, you'll meet on the way down. So be nice to everyone. If you want power, you need to connect with people. VIP is generally recognized as meaning very important person, right? Well, Ms. Black thinks differently. In what you want to achieve your goals, you should keep these 3 letters in mind. V stands for vision. C, what you want. I stands for identification. Identify to the world who you are. P stands for passion. If you don't have passion in what you're doing, then no one is going to hop on the bandwagon and follow you. Ms. Black said, some of the best moments are being instead of doing. Life is about being happy. And sometimes, if you don't do something that is going to change the world, it's the baby steps that you take along the way that are going to get you closer to doing that. I know Ms. Black has already personally changed my world just by altering my perspective on numerous things like the way you treat others, networking, prioritizing, volunteering, and most importantly, being yourself and being proud of it. I know that I can carry with me everything she has taught me, and with a little confidence, I can be successful in my future. Laura said, on my deathbed, I want to think, how did I leave the world a better place? It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Miss Laura Black.
Thank you, Molly, for a wonderful introduction. Thank you to the Girl Scouts for this wonderful honor, and congratulations to the other honorees, Carmen, Sharon, Jenny, and Paula. The mission of Girl Scouting is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character. Girls who make the world a better place. In other words, girls like Molly Malarkey. Molly and I had a great day together. It did not take long for her confidence to shine through. She was loud and clear as she declared, I am going to be a doctor and nothing is going to stop me. for me, the day was incredibly rewarding. You see, I have my own 3 children, now all young adults. As they were going through their high school years, and I would try to give them advice, I always got that roll of the eyes, or yeah, Mom, whatever. You don't know how great it was to spend a day with someone who said, can you say that a little slower so I can write it down exactly? There is no doubt Molly is brimming with courage, confidence, and character. How wonderful if we can give these gifts to all of our daughters. How great if all of our girls were able to put themselves forth and sell their ideas and their beliefs. In the end, to be successful in either the for-profit world or the nonprofit world, we, especially we as women, must be able to sell our products and our passions. We must be able to convince others to jump on our bandwagons. Rainmaking is an essential skill which takes courage, confidence, and character. I learned this truth many years ago when I was a Girl Scout. Looking back, it was my first experience in the business world. Through this process, I learned to have confidence in my ability to sell a product, courage to ring the neighbors' doorbells and talk them into buying these wonderful cookies, and most of all, character. Character to make extra money babysitting to pay for all the cookies I personally ate rather than sold. Courage, confidence, and character. The same goals I was taught so many years ago were clearly exemplified in Molly. Bright, inquisitive, and energetic, she is looking to make her mark in the world and savoring every experience in the process. She put it best when she said to me, you know, I just hate going to sleep at night and waste all that time when I could be learning or reading. You know, when we think about it, and as we stand here tonight, in these turbulent times, our days are filled with angst. We're worrying over the state of our country, our economy, and our world. We are bombarded almost daily with stories of dishonesty, greed, and outright atrocities. It is so comforting, just so comforting to be reminded that Molly and all the other girls like Molly is really what we're all about. Molly helped me remember all that is good. Thank you, Molly. Thank you to the Girl Scouts for developing all the many Mollys of our future.
My name is Karen Garnett, and I was privileged to shadow Cameron Larson, CEO and founder of Aquas. First, I would like to thank Mrs. Larson and her staff for making me feel welcome and for the opportunities presented to me. I would also like to thank the Girl Scout organization for allowing Girl Scouts the opportunity to follow such accomplished women. And last but not least, I would like to thank my parents for their support. Aquas, or Automated Quality Applications and Systems, is a minority women-owned small business offering information, technology, and business process analysis solutions based out of Bethesda, Maryland. They specialize in services such as computer systems design and related services, management, scientific, and technical consulting services, research and development in the social sciences and humanities, and internet service providers, web search portals, and data process services. On the day I shadowed Mrs. Larson, I had the pleasure of going to the SSE building and the Pentagon. My day first started out meeting some of her staff and seeing what Mrs. Larson does on a daily basis. I noted an analogy between homework and the workplace. When you have an overwhelming amount of homework, you just stop, organize, prioritize,
and start somewhere. This is exactly what Mrs. Larson did. She organized and prioritized what needed to be done. The main concern and the reason for the overwhelming paperwork was to secure contracts to keep her staff working. This was another lesson I learned, that you needed to have jobs set up in advance for your employees. My favorite part of the shadowing was the opportunity to see the Pentagon. An intern who works at Aquas as part of Mrs. Larson's community projects joined us. In addition to the tour given by a retired Army officer, I learned the importance of working with other companies, organizations, and government to make success happen. 10 years ago, Mrs. Larson started working with the Department of Defense and the cardiac departments of the Army, Navy, and Air Force in order to assist them with an integration process to streamline and improve the cardiology function and program managed support. During my shadowing experience, Mrs. Larson taught me the importance of being efficient and working together with other businesses, organizations, and the government, not only to benefit yourself and your cause, but also to benefit others around you. Even though I wish to own a small veterinarian business, utilizing the opportunities like the ones Aquas provides is beneficial in running the most efficient business possible. In addition, I applaud Mrs. Larson's accomplishments in winning awards from the Department of Agriculture, Women-Owned Business, and Contractor of the Year. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Mrs. Carmen Ortez Larson.
Thank you, Karen. I'm so impressed that you actually got all that from my day. And truly also that you were so sensitive to the fact that sometimes I get so overwhelmed in organizing and I do start someplace. My experience with shadowing Karen shadowing me was that I was almost shadowing her because we were learning from each other, and I think that's what's so great about that experience. Thank you. What I've learned is that the Girl Scouts organization has some terrific people. I mean, I knew Sheila Murphy before, but wow, I saw her enthusiasm. And Tracy Barnett, my gosh, you know, she was one of the top 25 CEOs that you need to know this year. Did you know that? And I am so pleased because when I was in college, only a few years ago, I had decided I wanted to study sciences because I was really extremely quiet and very shy. And I thought, well, if I study sciences, everybody will leave me to myself. And one of the things that happened is I went into physics, and I was very interested in doing something with that. Had grandiose ideas of inventing things and discovering things. And I was with my classmates one time, and we were trying to start a physics club. And one of them said, of course, they're all men, you know, and so allow me, gentlemen, to convey this story. We were trying to talk about who was going to be president, and I said, well, you know, that's an interesting concept. I think I'd like to try that. And one of the other gentlemen said, well, we want a man in that job. And that was it. That just did it for me. I was determined I was going to campaign and win that election. So I did. That was a good lesson, and I did, and I loved it. I totally loved it. So I congratulate Girl Scouts of America for being today's leaders. I know your challenges will be a little bit different than mine, but not so different after all. And it is that determination and that sense that you can discover what you want to do and take a leadership role that's going to make you go ahead and be all you can be. So I want to thank you very much for this experience. Thank you very much for having me and the great honor that you're bestowing upon me and my fellow awardees today. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Shelby Kessler, and I was given the opportunity to shadow Ms. Sharon Pinder. Sharon Pinder is the founder of the Top 100 Minority Business Entrepreneur Awards and the author of On the Backs of Blacks, the untold story of the MBE movement. She is also the founder and the chief executive officer of the Pinder Group, a company that helps leaders of small and large companies, nonprofits, and government agencies fulfill their missions by helping them develop and implement strategic visions, improve business processes, reduce complexity, leverage diversity, reduce costs, and build new capabilities for long-term success. Just before being appointed to the Governor's Cabinet, Ms. Pinder earned her master's degree in technology management from Maryland University College. Ms. Pinder has also acquired leadership experience through her jobs at Fortune 500 corporations. On March 12th, I went on my shadow day with Ms. Pinder, and we attended the Maryland Women in Technology Conference. Here, I saw firsthand that Sharon Pinder is a woman who is recognized as a leader. When I first arrived, I was greeted by so many women, leaders, and inspired by all their stories. I was also amazed that every person I met told me how lucky I was to be shadowing Ms. Pinder. As I did further research, I found that Ms. Pinder has responded to the needs of more than 250,000 women and minority-owned businesses. I soon came to the realization that stating that Sharon Pinder is a successful businesswoman is an understatement. As my shadow day progressed, I was given an opportunity to get to know the other side of Sharon Pinder. I soon learned that this amazing woman once wanted to be a dancer, and she never planned to become a successful businesswoman. However, Ms. Pinder has become successful and has a long list of awards and honors to be proud of, including being honored as one of Maryland's top 100 women in 2002 and 2005. Sharon Pinder also was inducted into the Circle of Excellence in 2007. Throughout my shadow day, I felt inspired. I attended a conference full of women telling me that I was their future. I also learned that women were once seen as inferior when it came to technology, and I had the opportunity to meet the women that changed all that. I was also very pleased to know that Ms. Pinder saw me as inspiring because I aspire to be a successful woman in the medical field. And I now feel, as a Girl Scout and as a young woman, thankful Ms. Pinder has worked so hard to create a society where women can become successful in male-dominated fields. Being chosen to shadow such an inspiring woman was truly an honor. Sharon Pinder has not just met the needs of many women and minority-owned businesses. She has paved the way for the women of tomorrow. Ms. Pinder believes that as a woman, operating in a male-structured world is truly a challenge. Sharon Pinder has truly tackled this challenge. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Sharon Pinder. Always remember the day you spent with a Girl Scout.
Good evening. How are you all?
Bye.
Good. It is kind of weird to be on the receiving end of an award when used to giving them out, but I'd like to first thank everyone that's involved, Tracy, Maria, Sheila, and the committee and the Girl Scouts for the opportunity to stand before you this evening. It is truly a blessing. Earlier I asked my mother, my beautiful 82-year-old mother is here with us today. Mom, in Miss American way like this. I asked her, why did she make my sister and I go into the Girl Scouts? And during that period of time, it's not like we had a choice. But why did she make that decision to make us join the Girl Scouts? And we were Brownie and we were Girl Scouts and that kind of thing. And she told me was that she believed for those things that she had us involved in, that would actually influence us, and she wanted to expose us to some things. Then she also said, it helped shape you as a young woman. So as I look back decades ago, maybe just a couple of years ago, as a Girl Scout, I think about the things that we did as Girl Scouts, and sure enough, it helped me define who I am and to find my voice. Now, I can't tell you that I know what I want to be when I grow up, because I'm still growing up and I'm still trying to define that. But there's something about building that foundation, the things that we did, that made a difference in my life. And so as I look at the women whose shoulders that I stand, who's responsible for who I am today, I certainly have to say in terms of organizations, the Girl Scout made a tremendous difference. In terms of just, I think about community service, I think about just the camaraderie, about teaming, all those kinds of things happened in the Girl Scout, and I didn't even realize it back then. When I look at the shoulders I stand on, I think about my grandmother, who was a sharecropper. My mother's is number 8 of 10. I think about women present day that continue to help me define my voice. I think about Jill Rose Greenberg, who's doing the Maryland Women's Heritage Center. I think about Nancy Maneri, who for 14 years has led Leadership Maryland. I think about my friends like Sheila and Watson and Obita, and they're going to be mad if I don't mention them all, but I will forget. I am in a puzzle. But I think about all my friends that have kind of shaped the day, and I think about what Susan is doing at Verizon, and I'm just so proud to be a woman. But I also think about our future. I think about my daughter. And my daughter is someone that my husband and I adopted, and she survived the 14-year civil war in Liberia. And when we lost our son, God granted us a daughter. But I think about my daughter and all that she's been through, and now she's a registered nurse, helping people at the Washington Hospital Center who receive heart transplants and those kinds of things. And I think about the future. Did you know it took me 2 months to get on her calendar? Am I exaggerating? I think about her mother and her grandmother, who's here tonight, and Shelby, who was student of the month in October, who's expired. She's only in the 9th grade at Catholic High, and she's following the footsteps of her mother, who went to Catholic High, and it's still all girls. But she just completed Music Man when she played Zanita. And she's always acting, and she's always debating, and she's always doing those kinds. She plays the clarinet. I was exhausted. I would call and say, can I get on her calendar, please? And they would say, well, hold it. We have to check what it is. But when I think about the future, I get so excited when I look at these ladies. Because as I continue to grow and continue to find my voice, they will change the rules. And they won't be finding their voice. Whereas we try to adapt to the game, they will define the game. And I'm so very proud. And matter of fact, when Shelby and I showed up at that conference, Women in Technology, they were so inspired by what we were doing. We're going to put the Women in Technology in connection with the Girl Scouts, and they decided that they would then do Shadowing Day at their conferences every year. I just want to leave you with this thought. When God made Eve, she turned the world upside down. I know you heard, I'm just going to paraphrase this quote a bit. But I believe it's the collective spirit of the Girl Scouts that will turn it right side up again. So thank you very, very much.
Good evening. My name is Caroline Lozinski, and I had the privilege of shadowing the incredible Miss Paula Singer.
into the middle of Baltimore to the Laureate Education Incorporated, which is this intense, intimidating building. And after entering the lobby, I rode the elevator to the 12th floor, and I was in the waiting room. I was so nervous. I met her assistant, Ms. Castro, who we had spoken to many times on the phone. And she greeted me with a smile, and I started to relax. This set the mood for the entire day. Next, I got to meet Ms. Paula Singer herself. However, we didn't have much time to chat. She got right to work. And during the course of the day, I learned about her business, her employees, and her day-to-day routine, which, let me tell you, is a really, really, really busy one. And throughout the day, I experienced 5 business meetings, met with several leaders of the company, and learned about her marketing production. The best part, however, was my lunch with Ms. Singer. I got to learn about her and her experiences. I learned her story of success. She did not become who she is today because of an agenda, but because of a passion to spread education. First, she was a teacher, and then a leader of advancing reading to children in need. And now, she's an executive of a multi-million-dollar corporation. She was a teacher with an idea, a person with a drive, and a woman with an incredible spirit. Now, her story amazed me, and I also learned she has been one of Maryland's top 100 women 3 times, making her one of the women in the Circle of Excellence. Now, this is the kind of woman that should be celebrated and recognized. I'm now pleased to present the amazing Ms. Paula Singer.
This is who is amazing, don't you? I will always remember that day because she came in with such energy and enthusiasm, and she was very purposeful. We had to get right to work. I didn't think there was any other way. In fact, my day with Caroline started me thinking a lot about what it meant to be a Girl Scout, and you've heard a lot about that already today, but I want to give you kind of my personal story as I think about this. What really did I learn as a Scout? And you see, for me, it's very personal. I've been a Scout. I was a Scout all my years in school. I started as a Brownie in 2nd grade, those cute little Brownie outfits. And then I went all the way through high school, those horrible green outfits. But it was really very much a part of my growing up, and so I've been thinking about and want to share with you some of the thoughts about what I learned during that time frame. Let me start with number 1, setting goals. Setting goals, making plans to achieve those goals, achieving those goals. And if you look at the badges, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Think about those badges. That's exactly what you learned to do. You selected something you wanted to achieve, you figured out how you were going to get there, there's some rules about it, you have to do that, and then, well, you just got started. Now, when I think about that, it isn't the one badge that mattered, it was the badges over and over again. Setting up an orientation of setting goals. Even more importantly, establishing a habit of achievement, of an expectation of achievement, was so important to me. Salesmanship. Yeah, I'm talking about those cookies again. I learned a lot about this, I think, as all of us have, salesmanship with those cookies. You know, first and foremost, what I learned is the best salespeople have a great product to sell. It's a product that people are loyal to and have high demand for. Now, that's the cookies, and I would hope that people in the audience from our business would understand why I'm so high on inspiring student experience. I also learned something important about selling, and that is that the people who trust you, who you have a relationship with, they buy more. And I had a secret weapon when I was selling cookies. It was called my father's office. And the reason I was always able to sell lots of cookies was that my father was beloved in that office. No, really, I learned this. I saw they loved him so much, they cared for him so much, they'd do anything to help me. What an interesting experience. People who you have a relationship with are going to buy from you. I also learned something important from the business side, and that was to ask for the sale. Now that's something people go through their whole life with in business and don't learn how to do. Boy, you're not going to be successful. You got to know how to ask for that sale. Better learn it early. Number 3, we had a couple comments made about this. I learned that it was okay for a girl to be competitive and driven. There certainly was self-competition, a lot of that with Scouts, but there was also that okayness about kind of friendly competition. This was important for me because I hate to tell you that in my day and age, we didn't have a lot of places for young women to show the competitive side. It was sometimes considered not ladylike to be competitive, to be driven. In my troop, it was okay. And I had comfort there, and I learned how to handle that competitive spirit appropriately, sometimes. But I think it's really important. You know, one of the things that happened in my day and age, too, is there weren't sports the way you have sports. There weren't the clubs that you were allowed to have, that you have now. And so there wasn't that kind of voice that you could have, and where you learned how to deal with that. And I'm really proud to know that all of you are very active and that there's a lot of opportunity for you in those areas. And I know that Caroline, I want you to understand this about Caroline, she made varsity baseball as a freshman. 4.0 student, too. Teamwork. Learned a lot about teamwork. As much as you can achieve by yourself, I really learned as a Scout that working together with the same values and the same goals, kind of rowing in the same direction, you could accomplish a lot more. And those people on the boat rowing with you didn't have to just be women. I want to make sure I give a plug for the men in the room today too, because I've had a lot of great men that have helped me along as well. But I think about planning for those camping trips. Planning, preparing, cooking, putting tents up, making a fire, doing all of those kinds of things, cleaning the latrines. Hey, we had to do all of it. But you know, when we work together and we put our best foot forward as a team, we really accomplish so much. Teamwork, so important to building a good business. And I know I learned that in Scouts. Stewardship. Stewardship. I think we're hearing a lot about stewardship. In my troop, I don't know about yours, but in my troop, we heard from our leaders all the time. They said, always leave a place that you've been in better than when you came. Right? Over and over. This was about making sure we understood not so much the stewardship about the environment, which was very important, but it was a bigger thing. It was about making sure that we knew that we had responsibility for the generations coming behind us, that it wasn't just about us, that we had to make sure that the world was a good place, that the environment was a good place for those coming behind. Again, I think in our times, this is an important lesson to learn. If you really operate a business, even a for-profit business like I do, a big for-profit business, if you have stewardship in mind, you make different kinds of decisions. You don't make short-term decisions. You make decisions for the long run. And hopefully when you do that, you can avoid some of the mistakes that we've been seeing out there over the last several months. Duty, and I have to do it my way. On my honor, I will try to do my duty to God and my country. Those were the words we used. We learned that we had duty and obligations. Sometimes those words aren't often used, but I think they're good words. Duty to our God, who had blessed us with many gifts. Duty to help Him create a better world. A duty to our country. A country that, while not perfect, provided us with so very much. Kind of a duty of loyalty. And I want to take a second here to tell you, as I think back about this, we really had a lot of instruction around this. I really came to love my country a great deal because of Scouting. Grateful for the lessons that it taught me. Caroline, I thank you and all of the other Girl Scouts here and everyone else today for this honor, and especially for your kind words. I hope that years from now, when you receive an important award, and you look back, as I have, you'll find that scouting was a key ingredient to your success. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Chelsea Green, and I was chosen to shadow Ms. Jenny Trossel. Ms. Trossel is a smart, successful woman who has earned her respect in the business and automotive field, a male-dominated workforce. She is part owner of Anderson Automotive. Walking in, I wasn't quite sure how much there was to learn about a car dealership. From my perspective, selling cars was as easy as sticking a car in a lot and making the first person who walked through the door buy it. Researching and buying a car was the hard part. After spending the day at the dealership, I realized just how much more there is to buying and selling cars. Over the course of my day, I sat and listened to a number of people who explained to me what their job entails and how it helps the dealership to run. I learned how to get the best results in an internet search on a specific car. I learned how cars are acquired and shipped to the dealership. And I was also informed that inspections and cleanings are done when you buy a car to make sure that you get the best quality before you drive your new car off the lot. In between learning about cars, I was shown the process of buying a car. Being the one who always sat in the van watching movies whenever my parents bought a new vehicle, it was interesting to see what was going on inside the dealership. Now I know what they were doing while I was outside watching Narnia or Madagascar for the third time. As a part of my shadow day, Ms. Trossel arranged for me to go through the virtual process of buying a car. I was able to look around, pick out a car, fill out the necessary paperwork, and I bought a blue Pontiac G6, which I don't own, by the way. Afterwards, I was informed about the different insurance packages that were available for purchase. And I talked with the maintenance man who taught me how and when to change the different fluids in the car. Before the day was over, I had lunch with Ms. Trossel. I enjoyed our conversation as we ate our pizzas and salads together. I was delighted to hear more about Ms. Trossel's background, her family, dog, and her experiences in traveling with her Girl Scout troop. I now understand that buying a car doesn't have to be stressful. As long as you do your research so that hasty decisions aren't made, then your car buying experience can be just as enjoyable as mine was. Overall, this was a fun educational experience, and I'm grateful to have been chosen as one of the shadowees. As a dancer, I would like to one day open a studio. I hope to use all the business knowledge that I gained during my shadow day with Ms. Trossel to help my studio flourish. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Jenny Trossel.
These lovely ladies, my fellow honorees, and these talented young women. I heard 3 of them want to be doctors. Is that too cool or what? Is that a great goal? I'm really honored to receive this award. I had a great day with Chelsea. We just had a really fun time. Taught her about the auto business. She got to see stuff in the automotive dealership that nobody else sees. She was in the back. She was where the parts were. She was where the shipping was. She was where they washed the cars. It's messy back there. My goal was to show her how easy it was to buy a car and to have the car serviced. And I think we did a good job that day. We also had a really interesting thing happen to us afterwards. We were asked by the Girl Scouts to go be interviewed by WJZ and Kai Jackson for his on-time program that runs at 6:30 on Sunday mornings. Like many of my honorees, I grew up as a Girl Scout. My mother was my leader. As I got older, I met my best friend Lisa through Girl Scouts, and her mother was our leader. We are still best friends. She was in my wedding, I was in her wedding. I saw her a couple weeks ago. We celebrated my 50th birthday. She's a little younger than me, so I can't wait to get her back. But one of the things with my Girl Scout troop is we love to travel. We set a goal to raise money to travel to Montreal, Nag's Head, and Cinnamon Bay and St. John the Virgin Islands. We had to work together as a team to meet that goal. The life lessons that I learned through Girl Scouting made me a good friend, a team leader, and a successful business owner. I attribute most of my success to the lessons I learned as a Girl Scout and to the troop leaders that guided me along the way. Unfortunately, my mother and Lisa's mom are no longer with us, but I know that tonight they're watching me and they're really proud of me, and I'm very proud of being one of their girls. I'm truly blessed to have the opportunity to spend the day with Chelsea, and I look forward to her bright future and being her friend as she grows up and does the things that she plans to do. I want to thank you again, and thank the Girl Scouts and the honorees and all my friends that are here tonight to celebrate.
Thank you all. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Sheila Murphy, Chair of Girl Scouts of Central Maryland's Distinguished Women's Committee, who will close tonight's Girl Scout Leadership Celebration.
Good evening, everyone. Was this a great evening or what? I knew it would be incredible. Every year I come to this event, and every year I think I get such a high and a thrill, and I get so excited and inspired. And I must say that today my expectations were exceeded. Each story was so unique of our incredibly unique but equally successful and spectacular honorees, our incredible young future leaders who inspired me. And just the more I listened to it, I thought, God, I love this. I wish this doesn't get over. I mean, it's just such a great evening. But I have such a fun job. My job is to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to each of you for coming here this evening, for gracing this, for supporting the Girl Scouts with your wonderful generosity and kindness of spirit. I see so many of my friends here and good supporters of the Girl Scouts. Thank you to, I know we heard a lot about the economy and the wobbly nature. We read that in the media every day. And you know what? The economy may go up, it may go down. We may have money today, we may not have money tomorrow. We may have clothes, jewelry, all those fun things, and we may not have it. But the one thing you can never touch is the indomitable human spirit. And by coming here today, you have honored the indomitable human spirit. Thank you for supporting and sponsoring the Girl Scouts evening.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you get involved.